Hello everyone, my name is BottleTopHornet and welcome back to Minecraft, where I have finally made my way back out of the end. In between episodes, I've been doing an end raid that ended up taking way longer than I anticipated. Really? Oh no. Ooh. Hi. Okay. What have I got? Oh no. Imagine if I die right here. Surely not. So anyway, I was doing an end raid that ended up taking a lot longer than I expected. And and I've only just made it back finally after hours and hours. Come into here. Oh, ow. Oh, ow. In the boat. Oh, there's already another one in the boat. Oh, wow. Okay. So I was doing an end raid and I just kept finding cities everywhere. I just couldn't stop finding them, and I thought, while I'm out here, I may as well just keep trying and keep getting as much as I can. So I did. I just kept searching and going through all the different end cities that I found. Let's just chuck on this to make room. I think that was everything. I can't remember what I had. Hopefully it is. But I ended up getting a ridiculous amount of stuff. So what we're going to do is set up a couple of chests, I think, and I'm going to show you exactly what I got. Ooh, spoilers. It's a few shells. So, I just put this here and transfer this across. For starters, we have 7 stacks and 18 of shulker shells, which if I place them like this, shows you that we have 3 full stacks and then 41 worth of shulker boxes. So I think we're going to be fine for shulker boxes for a while. And the other thing that we've got is a bunch of different items and such from looting. For example, a heap of spare elytra. So I just organized this a little bit for myself, like so. So we got ourselves 18 elytra spare, as well as the ones that we have up here. So that's what, another 6, that's 24, plus the one that I was using that's not that, that's 25. And then in my spare tools, I have my aerial ambience, so 26 total elytra to my name so far, which is pretty cool. And then if we start to organize this stuff, there we go. There's another one of the important things. Over 2 stacks worth of diamonds, bunch of stuff. I ended up throwing away most of the iron and gold that I got because I have farms for those, and it really wasn't worth it. So it was things that are a little bit harder to get, like all these diamond horse armors and whatnot, that I decided were more worth collecting than anything else, because unfortunately I forgot to bring a crafting bench with me when I went out there, so I had to use what shulkers I had available and wasn't able to craft anymore, which severely limited how much I could actually do. There we go, there's a little bit of gold and iron that I did keep. So yeah, along with some blocks and whatnot, a few decent pickaxes. That one's got efficiency 5, which is nice. I can just put either fortune or silk touch on that and it's already a perfect pickaxe. Bunch of saddles and armor and stuff, and I ended up leaving most of the armor and whatnot behind, just grabbing a couple of decent like that one with Smite 5, that one with Bane of Arthropods, just grabbing a couple of things that I can keep and then leave the rest. But this chest here sort of symbolizes the important stuff that I was looking forward to grabbing. Actually, I think I might go GUI scale 6. Makes it a little bit easier for you guys to see what's going on. So as you can see right there, a really decent supply of shulkers, bunch of fun diamond armor, diamond horse armor for if we decide to make like a stables or something, we can deck them all out with diamond armor, plenty of diamonds for ourselves, and plenty of elytra spare or to do little projects with. So I'm going to, for starters, add those diamonds to my stash by making them up into blocks. So now we've got 47 blocks of diamond, which is pretty cool. And yeah, we've got as much diamond horse armor or even just normal horse armor as we're ever going to need. And with that out of the way, finally being back, what I really want to do is get back into my proper armor. So let's strip that off. There we go. I feel more like myself now. It feels better to look at myself with the netherite helmet on. It just seems more like me. But we got our nanoscale precision. Oh wait, where is it? There it is. Nanoscale precision. Put that in there. I think I might have lost a netherite pickaxe because I actually died a couple of times early on in my little trip out to the end and had to find my way back. But then after the second death, I was just out there for hours and hours finding more and more cities, but I couldn't find one of those little portals that I showed at the start of the episode to get back into. So that's why I've been out for a long time. So we're going to put this spare elytra away, and I'll sort out some of this diamond armor and bits and pieces as well. And then in this episode, we're going to talk about doing some preparations for a mega build. Or at least I'm going to talk about what I have in plan for this Isle of Ender, what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do some planning and placing some blocks in places, in positions that are going to give us a better idea of where everything's going to be built, and sort of set myself up with the blueprints or the planned. Oh, I just realized I'm lagging a bit because my render distance is high from being in the end. But doing some planning for myself so that when it comes to actually building things and starting the process of building the larger area of land around the outside, I'm going to have a template to work to. So let me do some of this, tidy up a few things and get my shulker boxes sorted out again. I think we're going to do a bit of planning and show off how I'm going to plan out and make this mega build, give you guys an idea of the plans that I have, so you're going to have a far better idea by the end of this episode as to what's coming. And then I think before we finish up the episode, I would like to finish off this iron farm, because I was out in that end for so long. I still haven't worked on this any more than that extra layer that was at the start of the last episode. And I'll just come over here and check. Yeah, oh, it's working. It's getting some iron, but it can definitely be a lot faster. So let me work on that. We'll get myself prepared, get some items ready to do some planning, and then we're going to jump into doing a really big blueprint, a big structure almost, I suppose. Outline's a better word. An outline for future plans of the Isle of Ender. So I'll be back with you in a second. And I went into this with an idea of going about 200 blocks wide overall. But as I started to plan it out and sort of position it, I originally thought that going over top of the existing iron farm, like the old one, would be the way to go. But as I started to see the size and scale of my island already, I realized it was nowhere near enough. So in a second here, you'll see what I'm doing there is 200 wide, and it's nowhere near big enough. I actually had to extend this to a 400 by 400 circle. So to do so, I changed my plans a little bit by putting the center over the second island that I have here. And I'm actually going to build the main tower that's going to house the immortal crystal that I have on that island instead. And so I used Donut Studios' circle generator, which I think I've linked before in the description, but I'll link it again just in case you guys want to do it. It's really the easiest way for me to create a perfect circle without having to try and work it out myself. So it just gives you a pixelated image that you can use to basically follow block for block. So as you can see here, I'm definitely expanding the size of what I originally planned, and you can actually see the render distance changing by how far this whole circle goes out of like the island itself. So now that I've got my cross set up, I've actually come across and gone down from one side, and I just spent probably about an hour and a half, I think it was. It took me an hour and a half to follow the picture that I had and try and get this perfect circle. So I'm just moving around here. And it also gave me a feel for where the land would end up sitting. So as far as that desert, it's actually quite close, but you'll see in a moment that a lot of it does just end up in ocean. So I do have plenty of room to expand and make my own land masses. And I think in a second, what we're going to do is actually pop into Photoshop, because while this circle is great and I can stand up on top of the island and look at it, it's really hard to describe in Minecraft exactly what my idea is. So I think if we pop over into Photoshop and I get my dusty old drawing tablet out, I'm going to do a bit of drawing and try and show you guys how I'm imagining or planning out this island in my head, so that you guys have an idea of what to look forward to as far as this Let's Play series continuing is, And at the same time, it gives me something to reference when I start to actually build more of the landscape in the future. So with that circle set up and the almighty project looming in front of me, let's pop over into Photoshop and see what we can draw, see what my skills are like at drawing, and see what we can come up with as far as design. Okay, and this is the part where I start to already doubt my own drawing skills. So here we are in Photoshop. You can see that in these spots here, I've added where I will be putting the towers. So there's going to be 8 towers surrounding the central one. So if I just mark them like this, so they're a little bit easier to see. So our central tower is going to be here. What I want to do is move the crystal over on top of the tower once it's built. And then we sort of have this line coming out of it. It doesn't really line up with anything, but I do want to do something over where it meets the 0, mark. Then what I want to do is build these towers up to sort of match the style of this central one, but the central one will be more like an actual tower, where these are more pylons, or I don't exactly know how I would describe it. But essentially, they are more an extension of this central part of the island and this central tower. So I think what I'd like to do is build up all 8 of the towers, and then start to sort of get some land sort of built up around each tower, where it feels like the landmass itself actually follows the flow of this circle. So it might say, come across here, match up with the desert a bit, so the backside of whatever high wall we have going matches up, hits this desert, so we might have some sand on the back edge here. But I sort of want to do a little bit like how I have my cliffs in the center here. I sort of want to do a larger scale of that, where the towers are poking out, but there is a general feel of like a crater in the center. This circle being almost an ancient asteroid or meteor crater. So if I just speed this up, I'm going to do a little bit of work and see whether I can come up with an idea of the shape of the land that I would want around this. And then I think the way this circle has been set up, it gives me an opportunity to sort of make some islands in these areas here as well, which are a little bit lower, and add more land space for me to build actual farms or buildings and such. So let me just speed this up so it's a semi-time lapse and see what I can come up with as far as land masses, and then we can discuss it a bit more. Okay, so starting to get an idea of my what I want to get done through the course of this build. Now, really, this is just an idea. It's probably going to be one of those things that, as I start to lay the foundations for the land and whatnot, it will naturally evolve to fit a shape. But that's sort of how much filling I want to do. I want to have a little bit of water, sort of separating everything a bit like in between these two islands. I want water spaces where boats like this would have room to come out. So perhaps this one just squeezed through there, or he came in here and got pulled by another little boat back into this direction. And I want to have these central parts of the island probably at this height or lower, the same sort of height as my original islands, and maybe even lower, where connected by bridges, it's a little bit like this. It sort of feels like these are the main protected land pieces inside the central part of my ring of land that was created by whatever it was in the past. It's all sort of story stuff that I can develop over time. And then we've got these towers in this position. Obviously, the line is just a good way to sort of display direction and give you guys an idea of where they will be laid out. But all of those pointing towards that central spot on the cardinal directions and their diagonals. And hopefully I can build up the landscape around them so that they look organic, like maybe they were there originally or they burst up through the ground as a result of whatever was built here. I'm not sure. It's something that I'll sort of come up with as I go, but I like the idea of starting the land, and a bit like how these ones did, the story evolves as I work on it. It becomes something more. But this island here could be, say, farmland. I could do a village. I could add some houses and whatnot along these areas. Probably a little bit more square on the cardinal directions, and to have, say, a little town here, a farming village, where we have fields over this side split up for different like crops and stuff over here, and a bunch of animals in this area here, a few extra houses spotted throughout. There's just little ideas that popping in my head already as I'm beginning to draw this up. But this hopefully helps you guys understand the main build that I'm going for. And then to match the shape of the shield, I would eventually probably do some sweeping arms out this way and this way. But for now, I do want to just focus on the central ring of islands, because who knows how long it could take. It really is an incredibly large terraforming project. And I just realized that this looks like an alien. With that little bit there, it's like a Mewtwo or something like that. But yeah, so I think that sort of describes as best I can, and it's a good reference for me as far as setting up the layout for them. I've got my circle set up, and I can start to design my towers and get them sorted. And it's going to be one of those projects that I'm probably going to dot in little bits and pieces while doing other episodes. So I might add a little time lapse here and there of me just creating an island, doing some wireframe, starting to set up some builds and whatnot, while also trying to maybe set up these central ones first so that I can continue to sprinkle in fun episodes and easier to do episodes, because this terraforming is going to be really time consuming, I suppose you'd say. Definitely going to be time consuming. I'll be trying to spend maybe a couple of hours, 4 or 5 hours in between every episode, just adding to it and adding to it and adding to it. But at the moment, with how tired I've been lately, I just need to take it easy. So we'll sprinkle different episodes in between. But for now, let's jump back over to Minecraft and do a couple of other things before we finish up the episode, and then we can move on to the future. I like that we have this idea now, and I hope you guys are following along. I know this episode's a little bit of a different one. Definitely not the usual structure of my normal episodes, but I think it was necessary to get my idea onto paper, so to speak, like this drawing, and also give you guys an idea of what's going on as well. So let's pop over to Minecraft again and continue from there. So if you're still with me, welcome back into Minecraft. And I have built a little platform up at build height so that we can come up here whenever we need to and have a good bird's eye view of the land below. So just like this, it's a little laggy because I'm loading a lot of chunks, but that is our 400 wide circle. So up here, it looks pretty impressive, and you get a better idea of how it will look in game by standing up here. I don't know whether the drawing was really helpful, but I think it was helpful for me to at least have the reference that I can use to continue to build. So you sort of get the idea that we might have an island through here and different bits and pieces sort of connected as best we can. I've marked those areas where I would like to make the pillars or the 8 towers around this 9th one in the center. And I think what I'd like to do is have every single tower have 4 beacons in it so that we can have a decent covering of the beacon's abilities, or what would you call it, effects. A decent covering of beacon effects, at least around the outside. We might even have to do one sort of a 4, one there, one there, one there-ish, and one there-ish, just to try and get a better coverage. But I think that means that we're going to have to find ourselves a good spot to make a wither skeleton farm, because 8 around the outside times 4 is what, 32? Question mark. And then also the 4 in the center, so 36 individual beacons. That's going to take a bit of skulls, and I'm not willing to do the grind work without having a proper farm set up. All these things are really just going to take time, so I want to do my best to sprinkle in different builds and adding islands and adding bits and pieces and trying to make things interesting for you guys while continuing the Let's Play series, because like I've said, this really is going to be a monumental task. It's going to be huge. And just standing up here at this point already, the fact that it essentially covers most of my render distance from this central point, it's daunting. It's interesting that I'm going to do this, but I'm going to try my best, honestly. Hopefully I won't get burnt out. Without getting too personal, I have found out that I do have a medical condition that is treatable, so hopefully within the next few weeks, making these episodes is going to be a lot easier, and I'm going to have my energy back and be able to pump them out at a little bit better pace. I know this one has taken a long time, and it hasn't really contained much of substance. It's more just an idea of my plans and trying to get the message across to you guys of what I want to do. So with that being said, I know I said I wanted to try and do the iron farm, but it's taken too long to get this episode out at this point, and I think what I need to do is just move on and get ready to keep going in the next episode, start afresh, hopefully with a little bit more energy, and then I'm really excited to get back to normal and really start pumping out some good content for you guys. So I'd like to thank my Patreon supporters, especially Tom, my level 3 supporter. Truly, I appreciate it so much. It means a lot that even still you guys are supporting me. And I hope that as I continue to build up this series and this Isle of Ender and turn it into something truly incredible as far as a Let's Play or even, I suppose, a survival world goes, I hope that you guys are looking forward to joining me for the rest of it. If you'd like to support me and help me as I continue to put in the work towards this, I do have a link to my Patreon in the description, and I'm also working on a Discord server this weekend, so hopefully within the next couple of days, or at least by the next episode, I'll have that set up for you guys, and we can pop in there and chat, and I want it to be a space where this community can upload screenshots of their worlds and talk about ideas, and we can go over bits and pieces as a community and just hopefully create a nice little place for people to drop by and say hello and talk to each other. So with that being said, up here at the world height, looking down at this incredible task that I've just given myself, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. And as always, I hope you're taking care of yourselves. Until the next episode, take care. Bye-bye, guys. Oop. Ha ha. Ow.